Welcome back, everybody. And now we're going to continue on to look at the auxiliary section. Auxiliary section used to illustrate two sides of section, thin wall section, used to show section of thin material object. So when you have the object, and if you cut through this section, you're going to show the true size of the section. So an auxiliary section is projected in the same way as any normal auxiliary view. Is the same way, and this is to show the true size of the object. And the thin wall section is when you have a thin wall section that is so thin that you won't want to show the dimension of the wall. You would just show the thick black line of the section. So the space, you have to leave a space between here to show you have two part of the object. So show solid black that's the thin wall section, and any very thin object that is drawn in section, such as a gasket, shim, should be filled in solid black, as it is impossible to show the actual section lining. This is called the thin wall section. The assembly section used to show how parts come together. Part identified with balloon around the number. So here's a balloon of the number to show what the part of the component. So if you look at that, that's correspond to balloon number in this figure. So you have a 6, and that's a dry washer. 6 is a dry washer, and the material of it is a steel. And 5, you can see the 5 is the bushing, and then so on. Connecting rod, if you look at this, is your connecting rod, and it's made out of aluminum alloy. So when a sectional drawing is made out of 2 or more parts, it's called an assembly section. An assembly section can be a full section, an offset section, a half section, or a combination of the various kinds of sectional views. The assembly section show how the various parts go together. Symbol shall represent the more commonly used engineering metal and concrete. Symbols are also available for rubber, plastic, rock, earth, sand, and wood. If you look at some of the symbol for the section lining here, this symbol here shows steel, and then the concrete, cast iron, and so on and so forth. Section detail and rib and the web. You have ribs here, and ribs or the webs. And to show this rib and webs in detail, cutting the plane passing through ribs and web, and neither section is line. You don't want to draw a line to it. Both are sometimes rotated to produce true shape of object. And continue on, you can see that web here, and to avoid some false impression of thickness, and the ribs, webs, or other similar flat feature are not sectioned, even though the cutting plane passes through the center plane of the feature. For example, in figure at the left hand side here, the cutting plane AA pass through the long dimension of the vertical web or the ribs, but the figure shows the web is not section line. They don't show this section line here. Such thin feature should not be section line, even though the cutting plane passes through them. Figure B show an incorrect drawing, because if you cut through the whole thing, you won't be able to tell what exactly the web looks like. So another good example of if the cutting plane passing crosswise through a rib or web, we include section line. So we're going to include this section line here, section line in cut area, and also we're going to have to show the cutting plane passing through the web, and then you show this typical. This is a section of the of this is the section of this ribs to avoid the false impression of the thickness, and the rib and the web are not sectioned. So rib, when you cut through cutting plane passing through the web, you don't want to show that no section line in cut area. Another example of involving rib section and align sectioning is shown below, and you can see you have a ribs here, ribs, but then because when you cut the section, you can see you're cutting the section this way, cut through the center, and then we just want to show the important portion of the section. So you would cut here all the way here to show this the section. Again, your rib do not have to show the section line, but when you see the section here, you're going to have to draw a 45 degrees angle line. Section through ribs or webs. Given two view drawing of an object, pictorial. This is the pictorial picture, and given this two view, this is the actual view of the object. But then if you shade it this way, and it is a true projection section, but then when you look at the true projection can be misleading, because if you shade it this way, and it's going to turn the object into this way. So be very careful how to use this section line. If you show the entire section, that means you don't have a hollow hole. And this is true projection of section AA as the cutting plane line passing through the ribs. And then conventional practice, web or ribs are not sectioned. So when this is not sectioned, and you're gonna have to show this no section, do not show any line between this area. And some other practices can be applied when you show that little space here, but then you shade them all the way to the shade to this ribs. Okay, so this is we're going to talk about this example section detail next video, and we're going to end it here for now.